Right guys, Paul back here again with another video. In this one we're going to be doing a detailed comparison of these two belts here. So both of these are 2001 WWF Big Eagle Attitude Heavyweight Replica belts. Both of them are produced by Figures Inc. They're both the adult size version with the 2mm thick plates. The only difference being this is the standard version that came from WWF shop, I should say actually, WWF shop, and this has been upgraded by myself with real cubic zirconia stones, repainted logo and a real leather strap. So a few differences between the two, and yeah, essentially I'm just going to be doing a detailed comparison between the two, and you can see what the differences are. So let's get started. Alright, so the standard replica is up top here. Of course, again, that's the simulated leather, simulated stones, no paint on the logo. The bottom is the upgraded version with real cubic zirconias, painted logo and a real leather strap. So there are a few differences, but we'll go in depth for you on that. I should mention, we're not really going to go looking at the plates. There are some scratches on these, obviously 20 years old these are now, which is kind of crazy. That makes me feel really old. But yeah, 20-year-old belts. For what they are, I'm actually quite impressed. These are both in pretty good condition. They just have a few minor surface scratches, but other than that, they're almost spotless. I should mention, the standard version does come without the 6th plate, the property of WWF 6th plate. So for those that don't know, the original run of these replicas came with only the 5 plates that you'll see here. Whereas then the second batch of plates that they produced, the second batch of replicas, then came with that additional 6th plate on this heavyweight belt. Later on, WWF would then start selling these plates on their own, so you could add them to your original version, as well as things like the WWF Intercontinental, the European, all the WWF belts, you could then choose to add that plate too. So the 6th plate is a nice addition. I really like it because I think that part of the belt looks a little bit empty without it, but it is what it is. Not all of these versions are going to have that, but it's a 1 plate difference, so hopefully that doesn't really confuse anyone. Right, so we'll start off by taking a look at the strap. I think, yeah, simulated leather is not good. The simulated leather strap, the old version that they used to do on these straps, the snap boxes would be sewn on in place, and as you can see, because of that stitching, this is completely rigid. There's no flexibility to that at all. Yeah, it's just a solid piece of plastic essentially. It looks okay for what it's supposed to be, but yeah, it's not very good. When we compare that to the real leather, the first thing you'll probably notice is the snaps are a lot further along the strap than on the simulated strap. For some reason, these were produced with the spacing similar to that of the Winged Eagle, the Midwest style of spacing, whereas the actual maker of these belts, Jamar, he used to space his snaps way further apart. That was so the belts could then fit bigger people. Obviously, from the era of the Winged Eagle, you had guys like Hogan and Warrior, but in the Attitude Era, you had a lot of big guys as opposed to a lot of small guys. So the belts were in the Attitude Era were made to fit bigger people. So yeah, this has a 2x8 snap box. Both of them do, but this one is a lot longer. One of the versions of this actually on TV had a 2x10 snap box at one point as well. The snaps almost led up directly to the outer side plate. But looking at this strap, you might think the tooling, the snap box looks a little bit empty. It looks a little bit strange. The style I've done on this snap box is actually to replicate what was used on TV. So again, mentioning him, Joe Marshall, Jody Marshall was the original maker of the Attitude Era belts, and no bones about it, the guy was pretty lazy and he wasn't very good at leather work. So the style of leather that he tended to do was as simplistic as possible. So on his versions, the whole snap boxes didn't have kind of floral tooling or anything. They just had this kind of textured, stamped down design, which I have replicated here, which, to be honest, I like it on these belts. I think it looks pretty good, and I like the way the light kind of almost catches it. You can kind of see a little sparkle to it almost, if that makes sense. Of course, it does have my signature on the tip there, just of course to certify it's a strap completed by myself. Of course, that simulated strap does have that sewn on snap box, which kind of replicates this, but not really. The simulated strap does, of course, have the WWF logo going around the strap. It does stop right after the inner side plates. That's the same top and bottom on both sides. Whereas my real leather strap has the camouflage style tooling. Obviously, copyright reasons, we're not including the WWF logo there. But the camouflage tooling is what the blue version of the Big Eagle first had when it debuted the night after Mania. Was it 14? I'm having a mind blank. When the Blue Big Eagle was presented to Austin the night after he won the Winged Eagle from Shawn Michaels. I'm actually having a mind blank. I think it was 14. Jesus. So yeah, the camouflage tooling does continue top and bottom around the plates there, and continuing to the other snap box there. Like I mentioned already, no 6th plate on the standard version, but the WWF tooling does lead up to that 2x6 snap box. So 2x6 on both of these. Traditionally it would be a 2x5 on almost every other belt. The Big Eagle being that big massive belt, it does have a wider strap and it's got more snaps on this side. So 2x6 gold snap box here. You can see that kind of textured tooling again, which I'll be honest, I actually really like. I think it works perfectly for the Attitude Era belts there. The strap on these is kind of simplistic, whereas on Winged Eagles you had loads of like lines and kind of angles and arcs to this. This is really just a straight line, a circle, straight line, and it's a lot more simplistic on these, which I kind of like personally. Again, that sewn on snap box there, it's a lot closer spaced, the snaps, and you can see just it's kind of stiffened into place. So it's not too great, whereas this one, it's a brand new strap. It's only 2 days or 3 days that I finished this, so yeah, it's a really nice brand new looking strap. Right, we'll take a look at the back of these belts. I'll just put some foam over the plates so we can protect those so they don't get further scratches. There. Alright, so the standard version, you can see just how bubbly this is. You can see the strap when it folds, it bubbles up completely, which is to be expected. Like I said at the start, it's a 20-year-old belt, and just for that confirmation, you can see it there, 2001 World Wrestling Federation. We have the WWF.com, the Figures Inc. Licensing, and of course the official product sticker, the holographic sticker at the bottom there. It's really cool seeing the old WWF logo on merchandise, I must be honest. Yeah, makes me feel really old, I'll be honest, but goddamn. But yeah, this material on the back is just hard plastic. It's the same material on both the front and the back, but again, you can really see how much it bubbles up. I've mentioned this in videos in the past, but if you haven't seen my video where I cut open a bunch of these simulated replica straps to show you what's inside of them, I'll leave a link in the description box below to that video. Basically what's inside of replica straps is compressed cardboard and compressed foam glued together and a vinyl surface finish, which is what you're seeing here. So after a few years the glue does separate and they start to bubble up, as you see here. So it's not great, but it is what it is. And we move on to the real leather version. As you can see here, the real leather covers up everything, including the male snap box there, which is exposed on that version, and all the screws are of course covered up here, leading to the other snap box, the female side here. So really nice looking belt. The flexibility is pretty decent already. Like I said, this is only like a 2 or 3 day old strap, so quite impressed. Actually, I might as well just do a direct comparison here. So like I said, the snap boxes don't allow much flexibility because of that sewn on snap box, but if we hold it by the plate on that side there, we'll do the same here. you can immediately see the difference. This one would fold, like I said, it's a brand new belt, but if you wanted to treat it like the belt on TV, it will fold eventually, but yeah, it's quite a difference. That obviously you can just see. That's kind of an awkward way to try compare the two straps, to be honest. So hopefully that kind of gives a good enough comparison between the two. I mean, look at that. that's pretty much folding over. The snap box is still pretty flexible. Really happy with this. Really happy for a brand new strap. That is crazy. Right, and finally, one of the other big differences is, of course, the stones on this belt. So the one on the bottom here, the upgraded version, you'll see the nice real stones. These are real cubic zirconias, just like the belts on TV use. Whereas the standard belt just has the plastic stones that, of course, came as standard. So cubic zirconia, plastic stone. You can obviously, hopefully see the difference. The cubic zirconias have so many different angles and cuts inside of it, so it creates a nice sparkle. Obviously when lights are hitting it, it's a huge difference, but yeah, hopefully that's obvious. Okay, I think that's all there was to talk about these belts. I hope that was a decent enough comparison. I know that the belts are a little bit different style, but I must say I really like doing this type of leather work on this belt in particular. That kind of lazy tooling is a bit cool to do. It's fun, it's a bit different, but yeah, let me know what you think. Obviously there's not really a way you can compare plastic stones to real crystals. Obviously the real crystals are always going to win versus plastic leather, real leather. Yeah, there's only ever going to be one winner in those situations when comparing the two, but I've had people ask me before to kind of see the differences, so I figured it was useful to do this video and directly compare the two. But that being said, if you did enjoy this video, please do subscribe to the channel, like the video, that's useful, I'd appreciate it. But yeah, thanks for watching, cheers. Alright guys, Paul back here again. In this video we're going to be taking a detailed look at this 2001 WWF, oh fuck, this was meant to be a comparison video.
Yo, monkeys, it's me, DDP. And if you want to get one of the greatest belts made for you, go to Paulmartinbelts. That's right, sucker.